Ladies and gentlemen, we're back in the Real Deal Talk podcast studio, Epic 60 Fighter Interviews, round 2. But today, we don't have a fighter in the studio. We've got a lover. His name is David Shapiro, ladies and gentlemen, a.k.a. the criminal litigation attorney, the number one guy in all of, I think, not just San Diego, but the entire country from what I hear. He is the man. He literally is the guy. If you're in any type of sticky situations or in trouble, he's going to go to bat for you. In fact, I got him right before he's heading to court. Look at him. He looks like $1 million. He wouldn't even let us put the headsets on because he didn't want to ruin his beautiful hair, his flowing locks. He didn't want to ruin them, right? Welcome back to the show, bro.
I'm hanging on to what I got left. But once I get your treatment here with the red light and all that, yes. I'm gonna have to come in with a hat to contain all the hair. So we're good. So it's good to be back.
So this is the second time that I've gone face to face here with David Shapiro, and I'll tell you what, there's nobody better at plugging. He's the best. You're just the best at plugging Epic, plugging he worked Real Deal Wellness into the plug there for the hair. So God bless you, bro. You're the best.
I appreciate it.
So welcome back. So, all right. Well, anyway, the reason David Shapiro's here is because he is a lifetime sponsor of Epic Fighting. He's one of the original quote unquote OG sponsors, right? Jason's in the studio as well. But David and his law firm, name the law firm, by the way.
Sure. David P. Shapiro, Criminal Defense Attorneys.
There you go. Very simple. And he's one of the longtime OG sponsors of Epic Fighting. So let's just break it down on what's been happening. Last time I saw you was about...
I think it was August.
Not that long ago, actually.
I think it was August. So we skipped over. We skipped over the December one.
Oh, we did.
Or the November.
Oh,
fights.
yeah.
And I think I was here in August. So
okay.
Not too long ago. 6 months.
Okay, not bad. Yeah. Not bad. I'm not too sad. You weren't out of my life for that long.
No.
But I did miss you.
Let's go. It's good to be back. I missed you too.
Let's go. See, look at this. This is a love fest here. So I told you we're not fighters. Jade, this is a love fest interview. So
I was mistaken for a fighter twice this morning. Which was a compliment.
Stop
Despite wearing a suit, despite being a 43
what
years
fighter?
Old and not really being in the best of shape, certainly not fighting shape, I kind of want to out that person.
What?
They should be embarrassed enough for
what?
Saying it.
Where was this?
It was someone I was here. It was right here.
Here? Oh.
It was right here.
It was probably my employee who assumed.
That was one. A fighter was another one.
A fighter was another
he
one?
Asked me, he's like, who you fight next week, bro? I go, excuse me?
Excuse me?
Said, I've been in a fight in about 20 years. It's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, oh, you must be a fighter. And then we started talking, so.
Oh, my gosh. And, of course, the other one was my employee because she's just assuming everybody coming in for the interviews is a fighter. So,
who you fighting? The rule of law.
Yeah, right.
So it makes sense.
My own mind. most days, yeah. Yeah.
The man in the mirror every day.
There you go. That's a good reference.
Exactly. Good reference. All right, so talk to me about, catch me up with, first and foremost, let's talk about you for a second, then we'll get on Epic and
Sure.
just blow it up about Epic, what's going on, and we'll get everybody all riled up about the fight again, because you've been playing his clips nonstop, bro. You need to play his like year-round. Remember the last interview?
Yeah.
He was just phenomenal about promoting Epic and how, because you can't really put it into words, but you did it very well, like how great Epic Fighting is.
I appreciate that.
Like what the environment's like. Yep. Right, me and you went off on it.
Yep.
All right, but talk to me about your business life. How's business been? Give me some. What's the latest, the greatest? How has our society? What's happening since the election? Not to get too political here, but I want to know what's going on. Kept me up to speed. Has there been any shift now that things are kind of changing?
Of course, a lot of changes just in general, right, year over year, but especially with what we saw in November. Not even so much at a national level. I mean, national level, there's a lot of people that are scared.
Yeah.
A lot of people that we represent are scared because they may not have legal status here. And the intermingling between a criminal court case and potential immigration issues, we see it a lot with families. I spoke at a high school just last week talking to kids who are, in and out of the system as teenagers and talking about this whole other wrinkle in their world now. They get in trouble for something stupid, something that's preventable. Right now, their mom, their dad doesn't want to go to court because they're afraid they're going to get picked up. They don't want to drop them off at probation because they're afraid they're going to get picked up. So we've seen it there. From a statewide level, we've seen it a lot with some Prop 36, sort of, and going back in time to how California was as it relates to nonviolent theft offenses and nonviolent drug offenses.
Yeah.
We've seen a shift in that. We've gotten some cases.
What's Prop 36? What does that mean?
Prop 36, California voters on it basically to scale back. Prop 36 a couple of years ago and Prop 47 was a real progressive movement in California where nonviolent theft, nonviolent drug offenses, a lot of it was misdemeanors. The punishment was less. It was difficult for certain offenses to be elevated to felonies, right?
Yeah.
You get a lot of mini thefts, really never got much higher. Now the law has changed on that a lot. A lot of it's to be combating organized retail theft. So I have a case right now that's involving organized retail theft where my client is the buyer. So like buying hot items.
Really?
Right? And then under the new law, they're now caught up in this organized retail theft racket, right? So a lot of change in that regard, a lot of fear, a lot of uncertainty, but I think everything's going to settle down, as it always does, because my line of work, poor impulse decisions, bad decisions from that so many of our people make, so many of our clients make, so many decisions that I made when I was younger that lauded me in the criminal justice system, it's withstood the test of time, no matter who's in the White House, no matter who's in Sacramento, no matter what the people are voting for.
And so, now tell me about this again. You got to come back for a long interview, bro. We said this last time, didn't we?
We did.
We have to put this.
We did.
Andy, we're moving him up the list like really far. In fact, he's the first one because I pulled back a little bit because we launched the wellness center, Real Deal Wellness, from scratch 8 months ago, and in a build out of a new business, brick and mortar. I'm putting 80, 90-hour weeks in. I can't even focus on anything else. So I've been interviewing the fighters, but not many of the long form interviews that I'm used to doing on a regular basis. So you're going to be, I think, my first coming back in the ring when I revamp this or rekindle. Right now that the wellness center is kind of smoothing out, I've got employees running it, so it's kind of on its not, I wouldn't say autopilot, but it's getting close. Got it. So anyway, point is, a quick question here about what do you do when you're defending somebody that has like done wrong, or did they ever admit they did it?
Yeah, normal day, right? Defending our thing is we help good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime, right? So we are realists in the sense that, we're not big on percentages, but let's say 90-something% of our clients who are charged with something did something. Now, whether it is what they're charged with, whether it's worse, whether it's better, to be determined, right? So you can't be in this line of work if you're like, hey, I only want to represent innocent people, because while there are innocent people, there are people who are overcharged and wrongfully convicted.
Right.
The vast majority of people we represent have done what they're accused of. It's just a matter of what could be proven beyond a reasonable doubt in court. Right. And it's not so much about, criminal defense attorneys get this knock, oh, you're getting people off on a technicality. Well, the technicality is the law. Right? The law that everyone wants to adhere to, or at least says they want to adhere to. So, a lot of our job is just making sure, helping these people regain some sense of control over their future. Right? And sometimes that's not always beating a case. Sometimes that's getting a client out so they can be out when their daughter graduates high school.
Right.
Right? Sometimes it's someone who's going to have to eat a lengthy prison sentence to go there knowing that they and their family did everything they could to make sure that they got the best outcome possible. And they didn't, for lack of a better word, I'm going to say it, half-ass it.
Yeah.
Right? With their attorney.
Yeah.
Or not go all in to protect themselves, to protect their family. So that's really what it's all about.
And so when you step in for these guys, because normally, like, the courts will appoint somebody. At what level are you at to where, what if they can't afford you? What if, how does that work?
Yeah, so we are 100% privately retained criminal defense firm. So we don't do any court-appointed work. So anyone who we represent has hired us. They've reached out to us, or their families reach out to us proactively.
Yep.
And that could be as early as, hey, I did something wrong. I haven't even been contacted or accused of it yet. I just want to know my rights, and I want to have you and your team on standby.
Ready to go.
All the way to, hey, I have a jury trial. My case has been going on for 2 years. I have trial in 2 months. Can you and your team help out? Right? So it's at any point in the process. Now, if someone can't afford us, right, San Diego has a really good public defender's office here. They have court-appointed counsel that like anything else, there's good and bad. There's highly skilled and incompetent. There's lazy and great work ethic in the private bar, in indigent defense. So there's always options. You're never going to go to court on a criminal case without an attorney. It's just a matter of who's going to be standing by with and for you, and how much of a choice you have in that process.
I got it. Okay, cool. Let's table that for when we break down the long form. Now let's get on Epic, because we got about 5-6 minutes to break down Epic. For those viewers, listeners that have, let's say, never been to an Epic fight or thought about it, talk to me how exciting the atmosphere is. Break it down with Jason and the whole thing. It's
exciting. We have been sponsors now going on, I think, 4 years.
Wow.
3-4 years, right? And I have not missed a fight. And coming into that, I barely knew anything about MMA, right? I understand boxing a little bit. MMA, I'm learning throughout the process. I'm not a UFC guy. I don't go to the fights. I don't watch the fights. But to go to an Epic fight is different. right? And it's just from everything that Jason does and Harvey and the team and the opportunity even to come here and meet with you and be interviewed by you, and the promotional work they do for the sponsors is outstanding.
Yep.
But even though, I've been to whatever it's 13, 14 fights at this point in our marketing or in our sponsorship tenure, each time we go is almost like the first time all over again.
Yeah.
Especially if you're bringing someone that's never been there before.
Right.
And, last time in the last fight in December, I think most, if not all of my table, it was their first time there. And literally before that night was over, they already signed up for the next fight. And now we're getting a second table, and rarely, if ever, do people not like, hey, I'm in on every other fight you have.
Yeah.
The environment's amazing. The sponsorship, and again, we've talked about this where, you could be a sponsor and I don't know necessarily if someone's saying, hey, David, or hey, team, I saw your advertisement in the ring or on the fighter shorts, but it's the connections you make with the people that are there. I've run into former clients there, which is always kind of interesting. But it's even the other sponsors and the work Jason and the team do to promote everyone's business above and beyond what most organizations would do. And certainly, although don't hold me to this, above and beyond what we're really paying. We're getting so much more value beyond 4 fights a year and, a couple of social media plugs.
And I'm gonna double down on that because Jason Stewart, ladies and gentlemen, CEO of Epic Fighting, he really, really does an incredible job at the fight shouting out the sponsors. Like he takes in between, there's a certain point in between the fights in the night where he just stops everything and goes one by one down the sponsors, shouts them out, gives them a thing. They're in our logos are all over the place. We're the blue corner, the red corner, the David Shapiro, the red corner, in the Real Deal Wellness blue corner. Like we get so many shout outs. And just to back up what you're saying there, when I personally do these type of sponsors in my career, 20 years of business, and I've done every sponsor you can possibly imagine. Any sports sponsorship I've ever done never does really anything. It's more or less to give back to the organization. It's maybe a branding play at best. But in my experience, this has been the most that the people that we're sponsoring that they've ever done for me and my organization that I've ever seen since I've been sponsoring. They really go, like you said, the extra mile.
Yeah, Jason gets it from a business standpoint. He gets it from being on the other side of it. He gets it probably sponsoring other businesses with his own business or businesses over the years. So he understands what we as business owners would want far beyond just to see our name or a logo. I think most of the businesses that are there, most of the businesses that are sponsoring are beyond that stage in their business.
Yeah.
Right. I remember early
Correct.
on, it was so cool. It's like, oh, cool. There's my logo in the ring, or
Yeah.
there's my logo on the website, right? Or more importantly, there's my firm's logo on the website. It's beyond that now.
Yeah.
Right. And just to think about the experience that you could take your team out if you decide, you could take your family out, you could take your friends out, you could take potential referral partners out to an event like Epic, and they just fall in love with it, whether they have that MMA background or whether they came in thinking, oh, I can never be around that, right? It's too brutal.
Yeah.
And then they're looking at it like, wow, this is amazing. This is so cool.
Yeah.
And the way it's done is just done well.
It's done very well, and it's all not a great point, by the way, because it gives us a little platform to bring people, and all that's going to do is like help our clout. Like people like, oh wow, they're around cool things. We need to go to this. I've never been to. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, you do not have to know anything about the fight game at all. You don't even need to know what fighting is to come and enjoy an event, because the energy that's in that building, you cannot even describe it verbally. It's impossible. It's electric.
It's a perfect venue in the sense that, it's not the largest spot in the world.
Yes.
But you feed off everyone's energy.
It's unreal.
Next to you, the table over to you, and just a people watch. It's worth it for that alone sometimes, because it is such a diverse group in the crowd as well. You have fighters' families, you have business owners. I mean, I've gone in suits, I've gone in hoodies, right? I've mixed it up, and you see everybody from all facets of life in between. And it's a real good representation of the San Diego community. And it's also great from a sponsor standpoint, right? To me and my firm, we do a ton of work in the community, working with kids who may come from single parent homes, parents in custody, feel that their skills they have only transfer to certain lifestyles, right? And we spend a lot of time working with people who are getting out of custody as well. But at the end of the day, this is helping people. It's a different type, right? It's not in the criminal justice system, but these fighters, with the work they put in, and to see how proud they are, their families are, their coaches are, no matter how the fight goes. We know that as sponsors, we're playing a small role in being a part of that, right? Because I think everyone would say without sponsorship, it doesn't exist.
Right.
And I think that's what Jason and the team at Epic get so well, because they've done such a good job retaining sponsors like me and my firm for so long. even if necessarily it's not, I can't point and give you a list of cases we got.
Correct.
But I know there's value there far beyond a quote unquote ROI or return on that investment per case.
And somebody who's been in business as long as you and savvy as you get it.
Absolutely.
I get it. I've been in business 20 years. I get what this is about. This isn't just about it's not a transactional sponsorship. Let me put in money. I'm going to get money back. It's being a part of a family. It's putting in, it's giving back to others. We're just giving back and giving these kids, quote unquote, a platform, a thing to like giving them an opportunity to live out their dream and their hopes and their aspirations. It's a special.
It's a microcosm of life in general, right? In these fights, you see them coming out. They're all amped up. Everyone's amped up. Sometimes the fight doesn't go the way it goes, the way they thought it would go, the way it might have should have gone. Right. And you see the dejection, and it's part of life.
Yeah.
It's everything we want to see in a world, and to be able to support it and fund it in any way we can and to be a part of it is just awesome.
It's not only awesome, it's an honor and quite frankly a privilege. So Epic, thank you so much for giving us the honor and the privilege and the just the good feeling that we're able to give back to the community, because it is a special organization. So bro, we got to wrap it up because you got to go to court. You got to go defend somebody. You got to go get somebody off. Give somebody a shot in the world.
There you go. Better way to say it.
Yeah, right. So David Shapiro, ladies and gentlemen, law firm once again. Give him the law firm.
David P. Shapiro, Criminal Defense Attorneys.
Let's go. Epic 60, Friday the 21st. Get your tickets. You can also watch it on the pay-per-view if you're not in San Diego. But if you're in San Diego, get your freaking tickets. This is Real Deal Talk. JD, Real Deal Wellness. Support the show. Let's go. That's a wrap. Have a nice day.